Hello everyone, Johnny Hurricane here from GamersHeroes.com, and today we're going to be going over that, well, disappointing Nintendo Direct from yesterday. Let's get started. Alright, so obviously I'm a little bit higher up on my deck. To be real with you, down below, the snow was about up to my knees, so I was not willing to clean all that out, sorry. And as usual, if you hear the crunch, it's just the snow underneath me. Alright, so let's get into it. Yesterday, Nintendo finally had a proper Direct, not a third-party Direct, an actual Nintendo Direct, the first time they'd done it since 2019. And before it launched, it hit, they said, hey, we're gonna have 50 plus minutes. Okay, here's the first problem, right? It's been a year and they say there's 50 minutes of content. Okay, a lot of the times I'll say, hey, we should probably put our expectations in check, but at 50 minutes, I think the expectation bar should be a little higher at 50 minutes. Okay, so perhaps our expectations were a little too high, and let's get into this. So when the Direct finally finished, I did a little bit of math, and it was about 50% ports. In last year, Phil Spencer, the Microsoft guy, big head honcho type of dude, basically said that, hey, we're really going to start seeing the effects of the coronavirus on the video game industry in 2021. And now, after this Direct, I was kind of like burying my head in the snow, I guess, trying to be like, it'll be all right. But now I think it's about time we kind of expected that this year is going to be a little weaker. That being said, that Direct, a lot of fluff, it could have been cut. A lot of stuff could have been cut. What you're seeing from developers now is that while they are at, work at home, it is tremendously easier to port a game as opposed to making a new game. So that's why you're seeing so many ports on the Nintendo Switch. It's just a lot easier to do that. And the Switch is selling so well that why not, right? If you can catch even 5% of that market, you're gonna make a lot of money. So that's what they're doing. And I think it was like 12 ports, 6 Nintendo games, and then maybe like 9 that are coming to Nintendo. Like Monster Hunter Rise, for instance, is a Nintendo exclusive for now. We know it's probably coming to Switch or PC and other stuff down the line, but you get what I'm saying. So all these ports, as I said, it's a lot easier to port games than it is to actually make new ones, and that's fine. It's just that it shouldn't take up more than half of your Direct, which it did. In fact, it probably took more of that, but there were some winners, right? We had Mario Golf. I'm a pretty big Mario Golf fan. Haven't seen one in a while. It's a little weird that you're using, I don't know what the hell is up with the Mii's. Like, I guess they're trying to do it again, I'm not sure. But you got that weird Miitopia game that was on the 3DS, which I'm not really sure why you ported that one. I'm guessing that was really easy to port. And then you got Mario Golf, where you're actually using your, there's a wind blowing on a leaf and it's like hitting the tree over there. Where you're using Mii's again instead of the Mario characters, which I think I'd prefer to use the Mario characters, but I'm not gonna bitch because I do want to play Mario Golf, and I think that speed golf thing is going to be fun. The only problem is that the Nintendo infrastructure online, I don't know how well it's going to work playing it online. If it even is online, I don't remember if they mentioned that or not. And they started with the Smash announcement, which was Pyra and Mythra. They love their sword characters. I mean, honestly, that's probably the best call to do them right after Sephiroth. Sephiroth is like such a high that like no matter who comes after that realistically, I'm sure there's a couple of people you could think of like, okay, let's go ahead and use the meme of Goku coming. Sure, maybe, but realistically, whoever you announce next is not going to be as good as Sephiroth, so why not just drop your Nintendo character then? And then we get a bunch of ports, and then we do get some announcements that are from like third party and exclusive to Switch, like that Final Fantasy Tactics game. That looks like Final Fantasy Tactics anyways. Great, love that. I think they should have the original Final Fantasy Tactics, or at least the 3DS one, or the DS one of the two, on the Switch. They still haven't. That's still trapped on the original systems or mobile, which nobody wants to play that crap on mobile. But the other problem I'm having with all these third-party games is that most of them look like they're indie games, and I don't really have a problem with indie games, but there's a lot of missing in action games as it is, and you're showing all these new ones without giving us any updates on the old ones. Let's take, for instance, Hollow Knight Silksong. Where's that? What's going on with that? We don't know. Instead, you show us all these other games that are just kind of like cool, I guess. I mean, there are a couple of cool ones, but like I said, most of them are ports, and I really don't know. And then there's that Star Wars game where they show I don't even think any of it was footage, but they show like 10-second trailer and it's a third, like, if you have to explain what the game is after the trailer, you fucked up. And that's exactly what happened there. I think they just wanted to have Star Wars in there for whatever reason. That was just silly. But as I said, where's Hollow Knight Silksong? Metroid Prime 4, nothing on that. Bayonetta 3, nothing on that. Breath of the Wild 2, obviously nothing on that. We'll get to that in a minute. Whatever the next actual Mario is, or Mario Kart, nothing like that either. Again, maybe my expectations were too high, but when you take a year off a Nintendo Direct and then bring me a 50-minute Direct and you don't have any of that stuff, you got so much stuff missing in action, so much stuff that you haven't done any, just a something, right? And then the coup de grace, the final nail in the coffin for them, they knew exactly what they were doing when they brought out Aonuma, the Breath of the Wild guy. And he says, and now they're smart to say that, hey, there's no Breath of the Wild 2 news here, but bringing him out was, that was scummy. Anybody could have came out and said, hey, by the way, Skyward Sword's coming. But instead it's this guy coming like, oh yeah, but down the line, we will have some Breath of the Wild news for you. And it's like, dude, what? You got a 50-minute Direct and you're not even gonna, okay. All right, that's okay, right? We're gonna get these HD remasters. No, we're gonna get Skyward Sword, singular Zelda. And it's not coming until June or July, so there's a reason for that, which we'll get into in a moment. But yes, I think at this point, perhaps it is wise that we don't, maybe we start thinking Breath of the Wild 2 is not hitting this year. I think it would be a wise choice to kind of reel that back as well, maybe next year. Just brace yourselves for that. Now, Skyward Sword. There's a reason that they showed this one and did this one first. First and foremost, it is $60, which is, you know, BS, but it's Nintendo. What are you gonna do? Second off, if you put out the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker collection doodad, which I believe on the Wii U, both of those came together for $60, you're gonna buy that over Skyward Sword. Simple as that. Thirdly, Skyward Sword's kind of looked at as one of the weaker Zelda entries, even like in all of Zelda, quite frankly. And that's because of the motion controls, which they have attempted to adjust, but I have issues with that immediately. If you're using the stick to slice, what are you doing with the camera? How are you controlling the camera? And I'm already immediately like, no. I didn't play very much of Skyward Sword, so I'm actually kind of excited for it because I'll be able to go through it, or at least try to. I did have that weird Wii nunchuck, but like the first boss against Gearheim, in the first temple, I don't know, you had to do some very specific strike, and it just didn't work. For me at least, I don't know, maybe I was just doing it wrong, but I eventually got it after like an hour, and then I had to do like bowling on a bridge with lava bombs or something, and I pulled the trigger. I was done after that. It was just, I don't like motion controls very much, and they just weren't that great back then. I do think the Switch is better, but yeah. So anyways, Skyward Sword, they're doing that one first because that is likely the one that is going to sell the least. It's simply that. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, there's zero reason why that would not come down the line. In fact, that'll probably be holiday-ish, assuming we don't get Breath of the Wild. But they did Skyward Sword first just because, A, it is $60 for a singular game, and they did put the work in, to be fair, with the controller like slicey thing. They had to do that simply because of the Switch Lite. If there was no Switch Lite, they wouldn't have bothered, but they had to do it. So that'll come first just because it's gonna sell the least. It simply is. And it's funny how the guy was like, yeah, it's almost like Breath of the Wild, right? You can see a lot of stuff that was in Breath of the Wild. Just go and check it out. Please buy the game, basically is what it is. And it's just like, bro, it's not Breath of the Wild though, and people are just gonna be disappointed if you even try to compare the two. It's as simple as that. Like I said, I'm gonna give it a shot, but bringing out Aonuma and then saying, no, we're not having any Breath of the Wild 2 info today is just like, come on, dude. You could have told us before we even started. Why didn't they tell us before we started? Well, less people are gonna show up. That's simply that. Nintendo really did put some of our goodwill towards them on the line with this Direct, really harshly, as a matter of fact. Now, I slammed Microsoft for this exact same thing in May. At least Nintendo didn't say, hey, we're gonna show a bunch of gameplay. But in May, when Microsoft showed their thing and there was supposed to be a bunch of gameplay and then we got some crappy Assassin's Creed Valhalla trailer, I gave them crap for it. So I'm certainly gonna give Nintendo crap for this because of the amount of ports. It's not to say that they don't have stuff coming that is interesting. Splatoon 3 End is a very, very weird choice for me, by the way. I'm not a really big Splatoon fan, but to me, It's very similar to Overwatch 2. It just looks like Overwatch 1.5. It looks like Splatoon 2.5. I don't know, man. It's just, it's not a good time to be hiding your big hitters, is what I'm trying to get at. The year is so weak already that if you have something coming, you really should show it. There's been rumors that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl are getting remakes for the holiday, which if they do, of course, look, the holidays are probably going to be fine. This is really what the thing is. They're holding back a lot of their stuff for holiday because holidays just when the sales skyrocket. It really is that. And this direct just, you know, they could have cut it in half and we probably would have been okay with it. That's all I'm saying. Just cut some of the fluff and be like, hey, keep your expectations in check. Breath of the Wild 2 news won't be there. There will be Zelda news, but it won't be Breath of the Wild 2. And you know, we don't have as much as you might want, but we're gonna show you some stuff we're working on. And I'm just saying, just have us keep our expectations in check. But no, they'd rather just go ahead and hype us up. 50-minute direct, it's been over a year. Not gonna tell you anything about it. Boom, 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 everyone's excited. Then we all watch it and we're like, huh. Do I wanna play the Outer Wilds again? Probably not. Do I wanna play that weird detective game? No, probably not. Do I want to play any of the other ports that are coming? No, probably not. Because I've already played them all. Now, if you haven't played them, that's great. Good for you. But I have, and many people have, because a lot of those games are already available all over the place, and some of them have even been free. So, again, it's just easier to make a port, so that's why that's happening. But yeah, the Nintendo Direct, just disappointing. Where's Metroid? Where's Bayonetta? Breath of the Wild 2. It's actually starting to snow. It's really nice. And there's other stuff too, like what's going on with Star Fox. I mean, I know I'm probably one of the only people left that actually cares about Star Fox, but I do. You know, Star Fox 64, I basically know that game by heart. I can go through the entire level and just repeat the voice lines. I love that game, but yeah, it's just not what it is anymore. So, yeah, disappointing direct. Just lower your expectations for 2021. It's gonna do us all a lot better. I'm gonna start lowering my expectations. I know we're supposed to have E3 in some sort of E3 digital event in June. I'm just gonna go ahead and already just do it. Do yourself a favor, lower them expectations. You won't be as disappointed. And as I said, perhaps start thinking Breath of the Wild 2 is not coming this year. That would be probably a wise decision. But anyways, I am rambling. There was a lot more I could have hit on, a lot more I could have talked crap about. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to stay as positive as possible about this. As positive as I can be about being disappointed in a direct anyway. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you liked what you saw and got what you needed, let me know if there's anything that you are really interested in the direct that maybe you haven't played. Maybe I'm talking shit about Outer Wilds and you're sitting there like, I really want to play the Outer Wilds. I don't know, let me know. But anyways, if you liked what you saw, got what you needed, also let me know if you think Breath of the Wild 2 is coming this year, because I would really like to know what you guys think on that. As I said, I'm leaning, at first, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I was like 20-80. 80, it was coming this year, 20 next year. Now I'm more like 50-50. So let me know where you sit with it. If you liked what you saw, got what you needed, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Later, Gators.